Ranting ass off, engage, Pepe. I don't know how I'm going to feel about this. I don't know, fam. I don't know how I'm going to feel about this. I feel like I might, get a headache on this one. And Gaming Bolt has put out a video that has one of those clickbaity titles again. What's going on with Star Citizen? What's going on? By the way, if you don't know what's going on with Star Citizen after the 10 years of development that has been happening with the title, you're definitely out of the loop. But if you do know what's going on because you've seen so many fucking clickbaity titles like this, yeah, well then you know here. So let's watch and let's see what Gaming Bolt has to say about what is going on with Star Citizen. What is going on?
Star Citizen's development time has become somewhat of a multifaceted source of humor over the years. Due to the long development cycle, these have had the benefit of not being fully aware of the game's current situation because so much has changed and yet still extremely fitting for the same. It's a paradox. It's a conundrum, almost like Star Citizen. But all jokes aside, Cloud Imperium Games' space sim is a fascinating study. It began with the promise of being a space sim unlike any other.
The guy's voice is irritating me. The affect that he has trying to be much more intelligent than I feel like he actually is. Like that's what I'm feeling so far.
A massively multiplayer online game where players could explore the universe, indulge in trading and piracy, and much more. With Chris Roberts of Wing Commander and Freelancer fame at the helm, it truly seemed like the space sim of many a genre fan's dreams. Star Citizen began production in 2011 and subsequently launched a Kickstarter campaign in October 2012, initially amassing over $2 million. Nearly 10 years later...
So why didn't they finish? Why didn't they finish in 2012 or 2013? They had $2 million. Why didn't they finish it? They had a whole $2 million. Why couldn't they just finished it?
Crowdfunding for the game, which is now done through the sale of in-game ships,
right,
has exceeded over $444 million.
Right.
The total number of stars.
And by the way, if you think that's predatory, then you're not an adult because, if you're not happy with the decisions going on here in terms of game development and the direction they're going, whether it's the business plan or the game itself, then you vote with your checkbook or your money and you don't pledge. That's the reality of the situation. To say that like the pledging and the system's predatory, there's a ridiculousness to it. Because it assumes that, people can't make conscious decisions. Like, oh God, I just spent another $100. That's called an addiction, by the way. If you continually are pledging and you can't and it's not discretionary income, that's actually called an addiction and you need to find professional help for that. Shit.
Citizens is over 3.6 million, but controversies have cropped up again and again.
Uh-oh, controversies.
There's a
it's getting serious.
portion of the community that's satisfied with what the game has provided, even if there's a ways to go yet. But the question remains, what exactly is the deal with Star Citizen? Why is it so controversial, and what's currently going on with it? To answer that, we'd have to go back.
Partially, it's because there's a lot of people that spent too much money that they did not have to spend, that they should have used for their car payment, for their rent, for food. There is a segment of people backing that did this, and I feel bad for them. Right? That's partially one of the reasons why.
Back to the beginning. After its Kickstarter campaign concluded, Cloud Imperium committed to releasing Star Citizen in 2014, along with the Persistent Universe, which was the massively multiple online component. It would also release a cinematic single-player title called Squadron 42. The latter was developed by Foundry 42 under the supervision of Aaron Roberts,
We know.
Chris's brother, who previously worked on Starlancer. With space combat and first-person shooter elements, not to mention a star-studded cast that include Mark Hamill, Gary Oldman, and Gillian Anderson, the scale of Squadron 42 was set very high. It's also apparently going to have 70 missions for over 20 hours of gameplay, and this is only episode 1. Subsequent episodes would be coming later. From 2013 onwards, Cloud Imperium began releasing parts of the game that later came to be known as modules. Hangar Module was the first, but it was Arena Commander.
Like these modules and these ideas that got added on were tacked on because of the community. They were tacked on because this is what people wanted. They voted on it. These were stretch goals. They were voted on by people that wanted it in the game because their imagination was the bar. They wanted to make sure that when they played the game, it had every facet of gameplay that they could imagine. And the money was raised and those stretch goals were hit, every single one. Hey, do you want this in the game? Hey, do you want this in the game? These were all things that were discussed on a forum and decided upon by the community. So when people start blaming, which I haven't seen him do yet, so I'm not saying that this gentleman is doing this, but I see this a lot where people blame Cloud Imperium for the fact that this is taking so long, and that's false. That narrative is being sold to you, and many people are eating that up because of, it's easy. It's easy to click and hate. It's popular, right? But the truth of the matter is that the people, the very people that back this game, are the reason. They're the reason why the game's taking so long. And that's okay. Nothing has eclipsed this community's imagination. The imagination is why this game thrives. It's why it's raised the money that it's raised. This to have a game that involves all types of gameplay.
In June of 2014 that attracted the most attention. It offered ship combat and racing, though most had to play
I agree,
against the
Kev.
AI.
I agree.
Then there's Star Marine, a first-person shooter module that promised multiplayer modes and zero-G. However, due to development woes, it would eventually release in 2016 and offered only 2 modes, Last Stand and Elimination, along with 2 maps at release. Even throughout its initial years, Star Citizen saw its share of delays from numerous features, including Squadron 42, which we'll come back to. It wasn't long before some players started asking for refunds, and while they would receive the same, Cloud Imperium would change its terms of service to prevent any further demands of the same. Now, refunds would only be granted if the project was abandoned, which hasn't happened, contrary to popular belief. However, in December of 2015, the biggest and most significant module, finally, the Persistent Universe. Leveraging the existing modules, players could finally explore the system, walking across 4 different planets and 9 different moons.
Yeah, each one of those was reviewed on an individual basis by the amount pledged. So those that pledged the most that weren't happy with the route that was going on were the loudest, and they said, hey, give me all my fucking money back because it's taking too long. And on an individual basis, individual by individual basis, Cloud Imperium did refund those people. That did happen. And then a lot of people jumped on the bandwagon and said, give me my $40 back. Give me my $60 back. And Cloud Imperium had to look at their business model and change it, because any smart business would realize at that point that, hey, we got to stem this fucking shit up if we want to make any revenue. So they changed the term of service because of it. I mean, that's yeah. And also, right, you get 30 days. Right. Absolutely. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. So it's not as hard as he's making it out to be. Right. I agree. It's not as hard as he's making this out to be, or honestly that big of an issue.
Zero-G movement, a law system that would track criminal behavior among other players, procedurally generated biomes on planets. It was all available at last, with its share of technical and performance issues. Sure, it was rough, but for many that had been along for the ride and poured significant amounts of money either through crowdfunding or purchasing in-game ships, it was a long time coming. Progress, as they say. Now, this isn't to say that the controversies suddenly...
I love that. Progress. It's so snide. It's such a snide way. Progress, as they say. I mean, there has been a fucking shit ton of progress on this, man. Like, really? Are you fucking kidding me? I get it. It's got tons of bugs still. I understand, but there has been a shit ton of progress. And to be like, progress. Fucking
ceased, however. Before the Persistent Universe launch, anonymous and unnamed employees at Cloud Imperium spoke to The Escapist about development troubles. A toxic work environment, racism, and concerns over the project's massive scale were only some of the concerns that some had faced, with plenty of criticism levied at Chris Roberts himself. At the end of the day, Roberts officially stated that there was a, quote, very strong vision for Star Citizen, and he had no doubt about what could be achieved. Another major hurdle came from Crytek.
I don't know anything about that. Excuse me. I don't know anything about that. Like the problems at the workplace, what's going on socially inside the workplace at Cloud Imperium. I have no fucking idea what's going on. If they had an environment that was very hostile, that's management's problem. Management needs to take care of that shit and shore that up and make sure that people are not miserable at their fucking jobs to a degree. But I don't know. I never read anything about that, but I never really got involved in the kind of office drama.
2017. It alleged the Cloud Imperium had used and modified CryEngine without its consent. In December 2017, Star Citizen was announced to be migrating over to the Amazon Lumberyard. The continued use of CryEngine, even with this fact, was one of the complaints included in the lawsuit. As it turns out, however, Crytek provided the rights to CryEngine for use in Lumberyard as far back as 2016 to Amazon. The lawsuit was to be dismissed with $500,000 in legal expenses paid by Crytek, but in February 2020, the two parties filed for a joint dismissal of the same, with a settlement being reached.
Yeah. CryEngine, very aptly named, people. Cry.
Persistent Universe continued growing through the years, becoming more stable and receiving some more features. Roadmap changes and delays became commonplace. In-game ships cost thousands of real money and continue to be a strong source of funding for development.
And yet, you don't have to, nobody's forcing you to buy these. Why doesn't anybody say that? Why are people making it up that like the only way to fly these things is to buy them? You can purchase a lot of these with credits in the game, even right now, or rent them. Yeah, we know, Sab, that Star Citizen Live is on, but don't take people away from my stream, bro. This is much more exciting than Star Citizen Live. Okay? Like, because all I got to say is, like, what are you doing? Sab.
Shame.
Sab, I appreciate you, bro. You subscribed. You subscribed to the channel. You supported the show, but don't take people away from my fucking show, dude. I'm much more exciting than Star Citizen Live. Much more. Thank you, Sab.
An attempt to monetize the live stream for Citizen
much more entertaining.
Was met with significant backlash.
Love you, Sab.
Pay-to-win concerns arose following the removal of caps for United Earth.
Did you see what he tried to do, Pepe? I don't think he was aware of it. I don't think Sab knew it. He didn't understand all the angles.
Roberts
it's okay.
would dismiss these concerns, noting that there was no specific win state.
Love you, Sab.
And that, quote, you win by having fun, and having fun is different things to different people.
Wait, did he just say, did he say, I'm sorry, I was too involved right there. I'm sorry, let's go over this again. Grizz, did he just say pay to win?
Quote, you win by having fun, and having fun is different things to different people. It isn't some race to the top. It's not like Highlander where there can be only one. It's an open-ended persistent universe sandbox that doesn't have an endgame or a specific win state. In that same year, one backer tried suing Cloud Imperium, having supported the game since 2012 and wanting their money back. Due to the changes in the terms of service, however, he would subsequently lose the lawsuit. In 2019, another report came out from Forbes which talked about mismanagement, specifically about Roberts micromanaging things to an insane degree.
Okay. All right. Listen, I was personally one of those people that was worried about the business model in terms of its monetary kind of health, like fiscally, financially. And I have to say, the fact that they actually reported on their 2020 P&L a profit for the first time in a long time made me feel that much better about the growth and the direction in a business sense that Cloud Imperium's going towards. Okay, generally a company that cannot manage properly is also not physically healthy or fiscally healthy. So the fact that they're fiscally healthy is a good thing. That doesn't mean inside the culture and that the workplace is pristine and great. But I will say it does speak volumes to possibly everything being straightened out and things on the up and up. Companies reporting a profit. Everybody I've talked to personally that are devs and people that are involved with Cloud Imperium that I direct message and talk to are perfectly happy and fine working there. And we're talking about different races, different genders. I know men and women, all colors, of the rainbow, and sexual preferences. Like I talk to people, a diverse group of people, all very happy, at least from what I'm gathering in direct messages on Discord from Cloud Imperium employees. I have not personally witnessed this. I'm going from my own experiences and talking with these people, but I have never really seen like people go, "Hey DG, you know what? I cannot fucking stand this place." Like I have not seen that. I have not seen that.
Mark Day, a producer whose company was contracted to work on Star Citizen in 2013 and 2014, said, quote, "As the money rolled in, what I considered to be some of Robert's old bad habits popped up. Not being super focused. It had gotten out of hand, in my opinion. The promises being made, call it feature creep, call it whatever it is. Now we can do this, now we can do that. I was shocked." One of the senior graphics engineers reportedly spent months at the behest of Roberts, simply trying to nail the visuals of a ship's shields. David Jennison, who served as lead character artist before quitting in 2015.
Which SDF tech is great. I love the new shield tech. I love how it wraps around the ship, all the angles covered. They did a fantastic job with sign distance field technology. Kudos to the developers that nailed that down. I personally am glad that Chris has a fucking focus and attention to detail, because if he did not, we would not get like the visually stunning fucking product that we currently have. Yes, they have to work on the physics grid. Yes, there are issues. Yes, there are bugs. Visually, fucking tight. Tight AF.
Reportedly worked
That's
only
because
on
of Chris.
5 characters in 17 months. He noted that Roberts...
I want that focus. People are like, well, that delays it forever. I'm not in any rush, man. I've already been waiting around 10 years, for God's sake. If I'm a grandpa, here's the thing. As long as the finished product, whenever that finished product gives us the every fucking thing that you can imagine out of a video game, then cool. And that might take decades. At this point, it sounds fucking ridiculous to say it, but I've waited this long. Fuck it. I haven't fucking committed any more money than I'm willing to lose. It's all discretionary. I'm not worried. I'm not really worried about it. I don't think it's going to take that long at all. I don't think it's going to, they've already come so very far. We're going to get Quanta in 3.17, which is great. I think we'll have Pyro hopefully by the end of the year, beginning of next. I think we're going to get our first iteration of server meshing soon. And after server meshing is evolved a few tiers from tier 0, I think that's great. Development is still happening in 2022. Even some content creators are making you believe that it's not. That's false. We saw salvage last night on Inside Star Citizen, on the Inside Star Citizen review. There's plenty of other people copying my show and the format that are telling you that progress is not happening, that there is no development. That's foolish. These people know nothing about game development. There are so many fucking employees. This is a real business with real people getting real paychecks, doing real work. Progress is happening. Focus might be shifting to Squadron 42, right? That's not going to delay much of the persistent universe work. Some of that shit's going to slide over. AI, for instance, development with AI. That shit's going to slide over from 42 over to the PU, everything that's being worked on right now. Some of the flight mechanics, some of the flight experience that's being worked on right now is going to slide over to the PU. I think the only thing we have to look at right now that is the most important and the biggest roadblock is server meshing. That is an issue. That needs to be fucking ironed out. They're reworking it. They had to rethink the problem entirely. It's what we surmised from watching them on CitizenCon when they were talking about server meshing. And now Benoit is in charge with Turbulent up in Canada. They're rethinking it. They're rehashing it out. They're reworking it. It's going to take some time. Probably not till 2023, 2024. This is the thing. That does not mean that work will not continue with just game mechanics. Again, we're seeing wrecks, we're seeing salvage, we're seeing rivers, we're seeing a lot of work happening, and this type of shit, I'm over it. I'm over it. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. It's like, it's just vomitos. It's vomitos. It's regurgitated, recycled hatred. It's over and over again. So clickbait, man. This is why I don't get, like, you know, that it happens on such a big level. It's so grandiose, right? That people click on just bullshit. It continues to support ignorance, people that don't take the time to research what it is that they're involved in, right? Some people just go ahead and fucking make this story into whatever it is that they think gets in the most views or clicks without really even being passionate or involved with the project. I don't know what this guy is. I don't know. This guy's a reporter. I don't know if this guy's played it. I don't know how much time he's sunk into actually researching it other than news clips and blurbs. But there's a big difference between being involved with something directly and then listening to the hearsay and the clickbait, man. I don't know, man. I get so tired of it after a while, you know. Thank you, Execute. What's up, my friend? It just supports more vomitos. The more people click, like, I really hope, like, this is what I want from my audience, man. If it looks clickbaity and you see like big faces like this, don't click that shit. Don't do it. It's like crack, right? Don't do it. Don't support it. I mean, fuck, dude. Fuck.